UFC 251 post-fight show. I am AJ. This is MMA Expert, so let's talk about it. Usman defeats Jorge Masvidal by a fairly dominant unanimous decision. Masvidal did not have the ability to compete with him in the clinch exchanges. He held him there against the fence for most of the fight, and that's it. He won it. Congrats, Usman. Not the most fan-friendly style, like by any means, but he got it done and got a win. Masvidal will definitely be back, and he's always a fan favorite fighter, and he's definitely a star of the UFC, especially now being on the cover of the video game, but coming off the loss as well. Hopefully it's not a video game cover curse, because Israel Adesanya has to fight Paulo Costa hopefully there sometime soon. Now, co-main event, Volkanovski, Max Holloway. I felt it was controversial a bit. I gave it to Max, 3 rounds too, but I can kind of see how they could give it to Volkanovski. I'm not really going to complain about it. It is what it is. I definitely feel like Max made the right adjustments and looked better, and I could see a third fight happening sometime in the near future, maybe in a year or so if both of them get some wins. For Volkanovski, there's a lot of contenders coming up. For Max Holloway, there's a lot of scary guys to fight, and that division's stacked. And, I feel like if they do another third fight right away, it kind of holds up the division a bit, and there's deserving contenders. Now, for the next fight, Petr Yan dominates Jose Aldo just got destroyed in there after, I believe, round 3. He maybe did okay. 4. It just started going downhill, and he was really getting cracked. He gets stopped in round 5 brutally. The ref could have stopped it probably a minute or two prior. It was just a dominant beating by Petr Yan, who now fights Aljamain Sterling sometime soon. Aldo needs to get his ass up in weight. I don't want to see him cutting to bantamweight. It's way too much. He looks exhausted, he looks drained, and he looks unhealthy. Now, I'm not saying that is the reason Petr Yan won. Petr Yan could have beat him either way, but I do feel like Aldo is not a true bantamweight. Move him up a weight class. Let's maybe see him at 145 again, or even 155. I don't know why he's so opposed to that. I know they're bigger guys, but just give it a shot. I mean, what's there to lose? Dieting down and starving yourself and not being the Jose Aldo we all know and love, it's not worth it to me at least. Now, next fight, Rose Namajunas defeats Jessica Andrade. She did pretty well, but she definitely got cracked up a bit. Andrade is no slouch. Don't doubt on this girl. She's definitely in the mix for the title again, even after the loss. And for Rose, she's right there. She's the #1 contender. That's the fight. You do Rose, Weili Zhang. You could do Jessica Andrade versus anybody in that weight class, and it's going to sell. It's a huge fight. She's an awesome fighter. She's so fun to watch. I even think moving up, maybe move up one weight class. That division's a bit more wide open. 1 or 2 fights, she could be fighting for the world title at, the flyweight division. Was it strawweight? That's where she's at now. I think she could still be in the mix of strawweight after 2 fights too, if she just puts a couple together. Now we move down again. Ribas, dominant over Paige Van Zant. Really beat her up. For Ribas, watch out for her. She is capable of being a world title challenger. I promise you that. For Paige Van Zant, I think it's time to really take a step back and assess things. She wants to leave the UFC probably. I think she will. I think she'll end up maybe going to Bellator if the money's offered to her. Her, I think, fiance is there. So there's incentive, and she could be a world champion in Bellator. I don't see her being a world champion in the UFC. The caliber of competition is just way too much there. But congratulations to Ribas, Paige Van Zant. Hopefully she does well. Wish her all the best. Let's move down to the undercard. Jiri Prochazka. Killer. That's what I think when I hear Jiri Prochazka's name now, is killer. He's an absolute monster. Jiri Prochazka destroys Volkan Oezdemir in round 2. Brutal knockout. Absolutely brutal. I actually predicted it. Yuri's the man. Congrats. Muslim Salikov defeats Eliseo Dos Santos. I did predict this one as well. I thought it'd be a close decision. Salikov did get it done. I feel like he's a very skilled fighter, and honestly, watch out for him at that division. I think it's welterweight. Watch out for him there, and I really feel that he could be a top 15 guy and continue to keep winning. Now, do I think he breaks into that upper echelon elite? No, I do not, at least not at this point, but he still is a very good fighter. Makwan Amirkhani, Danny Henry. Exactly how I thought it would go. First round submission for Makwan. He's just too good for Danny Henry. Henry's a tough guy, and I really respect him coming and taking this fight. But Makwan is such a skilled fighter, and he did exactly what he should against a lesser foe. Watch out for him probably fighting somebody close to the top 15 once again. Now for Leandro Santos, he gives Roman Bogatov his first defeat of his entire career. That in itself is wild, you know, that's a huge thing. And Bogatov looked like he could have won that fight, and then he's doing illegal shots. I don't know what's going through his mind. Like, just didn't fight smart, ends up losing. Now Santos on a solid win streak. He's hopefully fighting soon because he's already 40. He needs to make a quick rush to the title. I don't see him actually, getting there, to be 100% honest with you. I believe he'll be beaten along the way, but he's a solid fighter, and Bogatov is good too. Watch out for him to come back. He just needs to learn the rules a bit more and not be as reckless in there because he's making mistakes that cost him a victory tonight. That's my opinion on him. If we move down to the early prelims, Tybura, Grishan. Tybura kind of just smothered him the whole time. Wasn't the best fight. He'll be around at heavyweight. I don't know who's the opponent next. Maybe a Ben Rothwell type matchup. Grishan probably will drop down to light heavyweight. I believe it's his natural weight class, and he'd be better off. If he wants to stay at heavyweight, he needs to put on some muscle and get a bit stronger to defend against these monsters. Paiva defeats Zalgas in a very close and competitive fight. Paiva's nasty. I'm a fan of him, man. I really like his style. Zalgas, he got hit in the nuts, and then he got hit in the nuts again. I think he should have just tried to take a knee or something. He probably would end up getting a point deduction and a draw, but at the end of the day, I do respect him not playing to the rules like that and beating the system. If we move down, Carol Rosa dominates Vanessa Mello. She looked pretty good. I was happy to see her win, and congratulations to her on that one. And now if we move to the first fight of the night, Davey Grant started us off right with a brutal knockout in a back-and-forth brawl with Martin Day. Davey Grant, Ultimate Fighter vet. Watch out for him. I don't think he's top 10, but I do think he's top 15 possibilities. He's a really good fighter. He's scrappy. He's from England, and he's representing his country very well. For Martin Day, he'll be back. You know, he took a tough defeat, but he's a really entertaining fighter. I actually thought there was a good chance he could get this done, but Davey Grant proved that he is no slouch, and he's not washed up by any means. Just because he hasn't been super active doesn't mean he don't have it. But alright guys, thank you for watching this post-fight show, the results. This was a good card. In my opinion, knockout of the night was Yuri Prohaska all day long. I feel like that was just so sick. Davey Grant was a close number 2, but unfortunately, when you get a beautiful knockout like that, there's nothing you can do. If you look down, or excuse me, if you look up to the main card, I would say fight of the night, I'm giving Rose Namajunas, Jessica Andrade. That's my pick. Volkanovski Holloway was also really good, so I could see them giving it to them possibly. And as for submission of the night, the other performance bonus is a toss-up. I lean towards giving it to Ribas, though, by defeating Paige Van Zandt. I just think stylistically it was a better skill set matchup, even though it was a bit of a mismatch. I feel like Danny Henry was definitely significantly less skilled than Makwan, and Ribas and Paige Van Zandt were obviously a gap difference, but not extremely, and Ribas got it done. But alright guys, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, turn on those post notifications, and I'll see you guys in the next video.